Our generation strives to have the perfect face and body, and we've become so self-conscious that even the smallest pimple can cause a major meltdown, and magazines are the ones to blame. Magazine publishers such as Elle, Vogue, Glamour, Cosmopolitan, and many more use Photoshop to touch up their models. They advertise these retouched beauties, and expecting to become like them can lead to dangerous results. Photoshop and other editing softwares are used to tweak models' faces and bodies. The magic of Photoshop is what they call it, and this so-called magic is useful in removing blemishes, fixing stray hairs, and slimming down problem areas. The inappropriate use of Photoshop in today's magazines to enhance the looks of models should be prohibited. In recent years, our generation has become self-obsessed. We work so hard to build up our self-esteem to a point where we feel confident, and then magazines just knock it back down again. Editing software can pose real danger, helping to spawn a culture that touts unrealistic beauty. Nobody likes being called ugly or fat, and photo retouching is basically doing that by calling someone out on not being good enough. An article in Huffington Post said that some images were tweaked so much that it didn't represent their true selves, and Photoshop removed quirks and imperfections that were important to their identity. The images were retouched to the point where the models were completely unrecognizable. Photoshop helps retouch images like this being the original and this being the Photoshopped one. Photoshop helps slim down areas such as the stomach, arms, and hips. Photoshop can also reverse the aging process, where wrinkles and fine lines can be removed by the click of a button. Because of the increasing severity of this issue, some magazine publishers, such as 17 Magazine, have vowed never to use Photoshop ever, and they say that they've only been using Photoshop to remove wardrobe stuff, like smoothing out the fold, fixing the stray hair, and then changing the color of the background. In some images, stomachs are so flat that they're caving in, and this poses a new danger: eating disorders. Girls starve themselves trying to look like models in magazines, completely oblivious to the fact that it's computer generated. Eating disorders such as anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa lead to heart problems, cardiac arrest, and even death. A study from the Palo Alto Medical Foundation says that girls aged 15 to 24 are the main victims of these deadly disorders, due to the fact that they suffer with self-esteem issues, thinking that they're not good enough. Self-esteem is a very important factor in adolescence, and if they don't have self-esteem, kids often resort to suicide. Approximately 20% of kids prematurely die due to body issues, and magazines are the ones to blame for this pressing issue. Self-esteem is an important factor in adolescence, and magazines are one of the contributors of low self-esteem levels. For that reason, the inappropriate use of Photoshop in today's magazines should be prohibited. We cannot change the fact that models are played with and tweaked, but we can change the way that we look at models and let it play with our mind. Magazines lead to problems such as from eating disorders to suicide, and Photoshop helped give birth to a society of dissatisfaction with ourselves and our body images. Instead of vying to be like those artificial models, let's celebrate real beauty.